Okay, there we go. Okay, so wanted to be able to recognize a couple of people tonight for their hard work and just some things that have really stood out to me and our top leaders here on our team over the past week. But the first one is Karima McDaniel. And I just had to tell y'all that when she first joined Q, first of all, she was asked by tons of other people to join their company, to join their business with just other companies. And she, never had any interest until she got a hold of our products and got her eyes on our compensation plan. But I remember when she joined and her saying, don't ever tag me on Facebook. I'm not going to work this as a business on Facebook. I'm just going to do more face-to-face interaction. I don't even think that you could find her on Facebook. Like she had to add you as a friend. You could not add her, if that makes sense. Like she was not public. She didn't have a picture. But y'all, she is stepping up and stepping out. And today she put her beautiful picture up on Facebook. She's going to be making her first post tomorrow. And that's huge. That's huge for somebody to come out of their shells so much that she's never done any type of social media ever before, but she's doing it because she sees the value in it. She's doing it because she sees the value in this business and what this business can offer to so many other people. So just wanted to give her a shout out because I'm extremely proud of her. And then the second person is Nikki Connor. And if you know Nikki, you love her. She is absolutely amazing. She is an incredible leader, y'all. I mean, that's the only words that I can say is an incredible leader. She is a team player through and through. She's helping people who aren't even on her team. She's doing calls with people who it doesn't even benefit her to do the calls with. She's doing 3-way calls just to help other sideline sisters. And she's just really grown and developed into an incredible leader. And honestly, I always tell myself that I'm wanting to recruit better leaders than myself. I will tell you that Nikki Connor is one of those people. She is just always pouring into others. She has so much belief in every single person, so much belief in this business, this opportunity, and belief in herself as well. So if you want to know how to do this and to do this well, watch her. She is one of those leaders that you want to watch because she is going up and she's going up very, very quickly. She follows the systems to a T. She is constantly getting people into 3-way chats. And it's not even just with me. She is finding people who, like leaders on our team, who her people who she's trying to recruit can connect better with. That is incredible. She is placing people with those that are connecting. It's not necessarily, like I said, me or Melissa who personally sponsored her. But she's been doing blitzes. She reaches out. She makes time for a blitz every single day. Even if it's just 30 minutes, she is doing it. Today, I believe she had one this morning for an hour, and then I was on one with her today for an hour and a half. But she opens it up to our team because she cares that much about our team as a whole. That right there is a servant leader. She is always serving and willing and ready to help. So just wanted to give a shout out to both of them and recognize that both of them for stepping out of their comfort zones as well as stepping up. So we are going to get this started with Miss Tara Truax. Let me put it on. Okay, there we go. So I am just so excited to be able, I know all of y'all know who Tara is. She is absolutely incredible. She's one of my amazing mentors, y'all. She is who has made me the leader that I am today. She has pushed me harder than anybody I know. She checks in on me all of the time. She wants to see how I am doing, how I am feeling, and she pushes me out of my comfort zone. She gives me that good kick in the butt when I need it, that tough love for sure, but then always there, just with outstretched arms, wanting to give me a hug and tell me how proud she is of me. This weekend, spending it with her, several of us on our team had the absolute pleasure to be able to be there with Tara and several of the top leaders and be poured into. And so Tara did a activity with us. It was really Can y'all hear me? Is it
Yeah, I can hear you.
okay?
I hear you, Katie.
Okay. She did an activity with us to where it was releasing our limiting beliefs, trying to dig deep and find and figure out what was holding us back, not only in life, but also in our businesses too. And she just helped us with pulling that onion back and those layers back. And then writing a letter to ourselves. So she is going to do the same thing with y'all. I asked her to come on tonight. This is going to be super impactful and very powerful in your business and in life going forward. So it is my pleasure to introduce to y'all Miss Tara Truax.
Thanks, Katie. Okay, so here's what I want to preface this. First of all, we're not going to write our letters on the call tonight. But if you have any major breakthroughs and you need support after, it is kind of late here where I'm on the East Coast, but I do highly encourage you guys when you're, if you guys can do this together. I don't know, Katie, are you guys going to plan on breaking off and writing yours there, or you just, yeah, you are?
Yes, I have paper for everybody here to write theirs. Okay.
So the reason I'm teaching this tool and the reason I taught this tool on the weekend is because this is a tool that I use almost daily. I probably weekly in our business with many of our top leaders because okay. Am I good?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. That's okay. Everyone got muted and I got muted too. Okay, so before you can process, so a lot of times what happens is when we're working with people, okay, people trigger in us that which we reflect back. And what happens is because life is a mirror of us. And by the way, there's tons of books on this. There's a really good book called The Mirror. There's a lot of books on this, that life will reflect back to us that what we see and that which we need to grow in. So when we get triggered, instead of reacting, often what we'll do is many of my leaders, my bigger leaders, will do a release letter. And even when I work with my business coach, she will literally say, did you write a release letter yet? Because what that release letter does is it allows you to release the energetic charge, that anger, that frustration, whatever it is that is causing that unsettledness around an issue. It allows you to dump all that energy into a piece of paper without throwing up all over somebody and getting it all out until you can come to a place of rational thought and forgiveness. So then when you actually go to approach that person or be with that person or interact with that person, you're not carrying all this frustration and baggage with you. This could drastically change your business. I highly recommend doing this often. Anytime I get triggered by anything, my husband knows. I'll be like, hey, I'll be downstairs in a little while. I got to write a release letter before I come down. Like, he knows. Because sometimes there's things that if I don't address it or I don't use that as a tool, I carry it and I just stuff it. And what we call that is your backpack. And when your backpack gets so heavy that you can no longer move forward, you're stuck where you're at. And if you're stuck where you're at, you're no longer in growth, you're dying. And there's two things we do in this life, friends. We grow and we die. And at the end of growing, we die. So unless you're finished with your life and finished making the impact here and you're done, you're all in growth mode. You all are. And so in order to make growth easier, to order to make growth freer, this is the only reason you see people as successful as they are, because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's just how much baggage from the past we're carrying with us into the future. By writing a release letter, it's a tool to dump that baggage, and most of that baggage is not true. There's something called a paradigm. I don't know if you're familiar with that word, but a paradigm is your perspective. It's your perception. It's basically like seeing if the glass is full or half empty. It's the same. but it's your perspective. In our house growing up, there was 4 girls and my mom. If you asked all 4 of us of an experience that happened, all 4 of us had an absolutely different experience of what happened. And then you ask my mom who it happened to, and it's completely different from all of our perspectives because of the glasses we're wearing. The glasses we're wearing, you guys, is the backpack you're wearing. That's how you're seeing life. That's how you're seeing your business. That's how you're seeing your team. That's how you're interacting on a daily basis. It's based on your perspective. And when you can release those old patterns, you can release those limiting beliefs, there is nothing that you are except who you are. Write that down. There is nothing, there is no label. You just are. You just be, you just exist. Anything else you identify yourself with is a label and a limiting belief, believe it or not. Those of you, I think most of you were on the call I did for Kalina on Monday night where I talked about the lid and the flea. Those limiting beliefs are just putting it on to a point where you don't even believe you're capable anymore. That's what happens with a limiting belief. So first, I hope you all have paper because we're going to give you a starting point. And we're going to work on the starting point. Then I will give you instructions on how to do these release letters. So first, we're going to work with a limiting belief. There's 2 tools here. So first, we're going to dig into limiting beliefs, and then we're going to dig into how to write the release letter based on this. So right now, on your paper, I want you to write 5 things, okay? And those 5 things that I want you to write go under, you can be, I'm not worthy, I'm not safe, I'm not enough, whatever it is. So if it's I'm not worthy, it could be I'm not worthy of money, I'm not worthy of love, I'm not worthy of friendship, I'm not worthy of community, I'm not worthy. It could be I'm not safe, money's not safe, friendships are not safe, I'm not safe in my home, I'm not safe in my family, I don't feel safe in business. You can do I'm not enough. I'm not enough is very, very common. You know, I'm not enough in business, I'm not enough with my friends, I'm just not enough. Whatever that is, I want to write a limiting belief that instantly trigger the thing that's coming up for you most, okay? If you have 5, write them. If it's 1, write it. You just go. Whatever comes out, write 5 limiting beliefs that are popping up in your head on your paper, okay? Just give it a second. I want to give you like a little time, but not too much. Okay. Now, who can I see? Oh, I don't think you guys can unmute yourself. So you can't, since you can't unmute yourself, I'll give you an example. Okay, so for example, if you wrote, okay, I'm not worthy of money. How many people saw that post I did for Fran today? $116,000 whatever check. How many people have saw that and said, I can never do that. I will never do that. I know there's some of you who did. I know there's some of you who shared it, but feel like you can't do it. I know because I've been there, right? If you did, I'm not worthy of money. I'm not worthy of success, okay? Okay, they can unmute now. Okay. So if you, for example, wrote, I'm not worthy of success, I now want you to flip that on your paper to something you're grateful for. I'm grateful for the success I have. Here's why. The fact that you're here and you're alive is success, by the way, friends. Our dear friend Kristen Adams just lost her dad today. He's no longer here. I bet you anything she would really love for him to be here, and he would love to be alive. Remember, in every single place we have, it is a success. It's our perspective. So I am grateful for fill in the blank. So if you say, I am unworthy of love, I am grateful for the love I'm surrounded by daily. I'm unworthy of money. I'm grateful for the money flowing into our house. Because y'all have something. We're just putting judgments on what's enough. I am not enough. I'm grateful for being the best I can be every single day, which, by the way, friends, just so you know, everybody is doing the best they can at all moments. Just remember that. If you use that tool, that will alone will massively change your business. Not what we think people should be doing. Everybody is absolutely doing 100% the best they can in each given moment. So take those 5 things and flip what your limiting belief is to a place of gratitude. Now, when you catch yourself in a limiting belief or talking to yourself in a not nice way, which most of you do more times during the day than you even know subconsciously. When you tell yourself you can't do something, or you're not worth having that, or you can't, or this always happens to me. I'm grateful this always happens to me. It's showing me another way. Grateful this always happens to me. What else is possible? Start to flip your experience into gratitude and see what happens. So that's tool number 1. And you can start doing this every single morning, whether you put them on your mirror or you put your limiting beliefs, the things that really feel like you limit yourself with. Shift it to gratitude for those things and watch how you busted that lid off that Flea jar. Because it's in gratitude that you open up to new possibility. Okay? Now, the next step I want you to do is I want you to think, okay, we're going to stray off. So we're going to leave that for a second. So the next thing I want you to do is I want you to think of a leader, any leader. It could be in Q Sciences. It could be out in the world. It could be in your husband's job or a friend's job or a public figure. It could be anyone. And I want you to think of 5 qualities that that person has. And I want you to write those 5 qualities down. Go. 5 great qualities in a leader that you see from somebody around you, that you see. Now, here's the thing. Science actually shows us how the human brain works. They've done lots of studies on this. That's why they've done studies where certain types of animals, when they're born, if they're raised by a different animal, that animal will think it's a different animal. It doesn't know any different. Science has showed us that we can only perceive that which we know. Therefore, fear and excitement are actually the same exact feeling in the body. We have just flipped them and got them confused. Perfect example, we're little, we're in line at an amusement park, like a little kid's amusement park, and you're gonna go on a roller coaster for the first time. And you're really fidgety and can't sit still, and you're really excited, and your mom says to you, "Oh, are you scared?" And right then you identify that that feeling of excitement is now fear. Think about the last time you were really excited about something. Think about the last time you were very fearful about something. It feels exactly the same. What if it actually was the same? What if we removed fear and only put in excitement? See, our perception is what we define to be real. So if you see, okay, if someone can unmute, someone just unmute and tell me 1 quality they have written down.
Confident.
Okay, so in order for Brenda to see a leader have confidence, she must have confidence. Now, she may not feel confident, and maybe she does feel confident. But in order for her to see confidence in someone else, she must have it in herself, or she wouldn't even recognize it in another person. See, we can only see that which we are. So the 5 qualities you wrote down that you see in a leader you admire are the qualities in yourself. So think about this, because it goes both ways. And this is super valuable when dealing with your team and dealing with team that could be very difficult. In a difficult situation, or a situation that's triggering you, it's triggering you because it's reflecting something back to you that you need to deal with in yourself. This is where a release letter comes in really, really, really strong. The other piece is, if I see this leader is so confident, this leader is so brave, they speak so eloquently, which is not me, by the way. Whatever it is, those are qualities in yourself. You just need to simply identify them and release any baggage preventing you from showing up in those. So remember, if you can see it in someone else, which includes hate, which includes fear, which includes negativity, you guys, if you have a whole lot of negativity coming at you, the very first thing I'm going to tell you is go look in the mirror. Because your energy is going to be reflected out there, and that's coming back at you for you to deal with it. So if you want to grow, then you have to stop reflecting that back. And this is where you want to dump that in your release letter. So then you can show up and you can say, oh, that person must be having a bad day. Let's see what we can do to help shift that for them, instead of reflecting back into the negativity. Now, if there's a whole lot of negativity around you, it's a reflection back to you where you need to grow. When you grow, that negativity will automatically go away. It won't even come near you. Maybe once or twice you'll get a message, you won't even reflect or respond anymore because you're not even identifying with it anymore. It's not there. You're not stuck in that. You've shifted it. You've shifted into growth. Great. Do you have a problem? We can solve it. Otherwise, sorry, dude, go get some therapy. I'm not your therapist. Okay, so now the thing now I want you to do, so now you have this tool of reflection, okay? So now the thing I want you to do is go to your limiting belief, and whatever one stands out the most, this is where you're going to write a release letter for. So what I want you to do, think of whatever stands out the most, one that stands out the most. Close your eyes for a minute and think of a time. So it's like, if I'm not worthy of success, I want you to think of a time going back. It's usually between 0 and 12. If you're having a hard time getting back to 12 years old because there's a lot of trauma or a lot of things happen, go back to the first thing that pops in your head, understanding you may have to write a release letter when you were 25, a release letter when you're 19, a release letter when you're 13, a release letter when you're 12, a release letter when you're 7, because all you did was repeat yourself over and over and over to try to prove yourself right, which is what we do. Our subconscious mind tries to prove us right to keep us safe. And all of that goes in our backpack. All it means is you got a whole lot of stuff in your backpack around an issue. That's fine. You can write as many release letters as you need. Not a big deal. No one needs to know about it. You write it, you tear it up, you burn it, and you're done. But it's opening an onion, like Katie said. We're going to start peeling the onion. Now, ideally, when you say something, you're going to go back and you're going to remember a memory. Maybe you were 6. Maybe you were 6 and you went somewhere and your parents didn't have enough money to get something and you felt uncomfortable or insecure, or something happened. Whatever it is, whatever one of your limiting beliefs, look at that limiting belief, close your eyes for a minute, and go back to a time when you remember feeling that, or you experienced your parents feeling that. It's usually your mom or your dad. You're not going to relive this, friends. Just think of that experience. And then just write a couple words on your paper. It's not the whole experience. Just write, age 5, mom went here, we had no money, whatever it was. Just really a moment so that when you go to write this letter, you'll be in a good place. So just take a minute. You're going to use that limiting belief that's standing out. And from that limiting belief that's standing out, go to a time. Okay. So now what you're going to do when our call ends, and I'll answer any questions before we get off. You're going to take some time, go off in a private place in a quiet area. I like to sit right here on my desk where I can look out over, and I burn a candle because it just makes me feel good. Just like to keep the energy clear. And you start writing as the little girl or boy that you were at that time, as an experience to your mom or your dad. It's usually one of the people. Maybe it was a friend, maybe it was a sister, something that happened, a teacher. And you're going to write a letter to them from you, talking about your experience, sharing your anger, sharing your feelings, sharing all the words you never said, all the things you never did, all your whole experience. You're going to share, you're going to write and write and write and write. And what a lot of people showed me, the event, their handwriting, how it got really, it was really messy, and then it got really nice again. Totally normal. It's really good. Fine if it gets big and gapped. When I do it, mine, when I start, it's all nice. And then when I get a lot of writing, it's like all messy and I can barely read it. And I know that my letters come to completion when I've come to a place of forgiveness. Remember when I wrote in the very beginning where we could see that limiting belief and we could flip it to a place of gratitude? When you're able to come to a place of compassion or gratitude and being able to see, wow, my mom truly was doing the best she could, or wow, I can't believe that was what happened. That was the perspective. When you're able to release all the energy around it and come to a place of calm and forgiveness and finish your letter, you know that letter's done. Then we fold it up, tear it up, and you burn it. When we were at our event, we put it in a bin outside and we all burned it together. When I'm at home, I tear it up into little things. I actually burn it and I put it in the toilet and I flush it because I don't want to clog the toilet and I don't want to make a mess. But you can do it however you want, but burning it actually releases that energy, turns it into nothing, it's gone, and you can move forward without that heavy stuff in your backpack. You can do this with anything that triggers you so that you're releasing it. Often there are people in your life right now who are going to trigger you from stuff that happened to you or in their past. There are some people in my life right now who trigger me that remind me of my grandma when I was a kid, believe it or not. And they will do things that trigger that. So what I do, instead of reacting now, I go back to that experience when I was a kid and felt hurt by my grandma, and I would write the release letter to my grandma. So I release it. So then when I can show up to see what this person is doing, I'm not reacting with my past limiting beliefs. I'm just showing up and being present and realizing their stuff is theirs and mine is mine. Because you are you, exactly as you are, without any labels. It's just the backpack you're using to define yourself. Okay, so did I forget anything, Katie? I want to open up to questions before you guys jump off and start writing your letters and use this tool. Did I forget anything, Katie?
No, I don't think so. I think you covered everything.
Okay. Does anyone need to ask any specific questions?
I do have what if somebody says, well, I can't think of anything? How would you recommend?
You're in your head. So if you have a limiting belief that you're carrying with you, chances are your memory is trying to protect you. Now, if you have a lot of childhood trauma, okay, your memory could protect you from that, which that's completely fine. You most likely probably need a therapist and stuff to help deal with that. But as an adult, you're going to still have those reflections of the trauma. You're going to have experiences maybe in your 30s or 20s where they're going to show up, and then you're going to write that release letter. You're still going to have a moment. It could be last week where you felt unworthy of receiving something. You're going to go to that thing that pops in your head. You're going to have something. If you don't want to address it, I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to be in business with people, because people are going to throw their stuff so far at you, you'll be overwhelmed and you'll quit. You'll go into a hole and you won't be able to be around people, because they're just going to trigger you over and over and over until you feel defeated. So we have to be clear of reflecting stuff back to people where you can just be like, okay, that's an interesting point of view. You have that point of view. You should be able to sit on a call for 2 hours while someone tells you all the things they hate about you. It's happened to me, you guys. Just is. I have no opinion of it. It's not my opinion. It's an interesting point of view. They have that point of view. It's their stuff. It's not mine to take, because I'm not taking their baggage. It's not my experience. That's their baggage. They need to deal with that. This allows you to be very clear in how you show up and do business. And what that does is then allows you to work with people of all kinds, of all places, of all backgrounds without judgment, because you're showing up, accepting people exactly as they are, without your backpack and your baggage. You're not dealing with self-worth. You're not dealing with I'm not enough. You're not dealing with the carpet rug's going to be pulled out underneath me. You guys, these are real things. If you heard on the call today, and the girls that were there this weekend know, I had a limiting belief for a really long time that people didn't like me. And that stemmed from when I was a kid, from some stuff that happened with my mom and my sister. For a really long time, I believed that. And I carried it with me way into adulthood. And I did tons and tons and tons of work around it, but it will still show up sometimes. And when it shows up, I got to release it so I don't ruin my experience, or I don't limit my ability to do things like events, to show up and do that. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I let my limiting belief that people didn't like me stop me. Try to grow a business internationally with people when you think people don't like you. Good luck with that, you guys. It's a problem. Okay? So these are the things. If you don't believe you're successful, how are you going to have success? If you don't believe you're worthy of being paid, how are you going to be paid? If you believe that $100,000 is too much money for you to have, how are you going to have $100,000? You won't. You will limit yourself to only what you believe. And that's just your belief. It's a limiting belief. It's you put the lid on what you're willing to receive instead of busting through the lid, letting go of your backpack of BS that you've been carrying around to identify everything with, and just see for what it is. Oh, that's $100,000. That would be nice to play with. Oh, that's fun. Oh, I want to use that. I want to do that. Okay, I can have a team of 30,000 people. Don't know what that looks like. Let me try. There's no opinion. It just is. That's what happens when you dump the limiting beliefs away of you're not worthy. I can't do this. You know, I'm ugly. No one likes me. All of those things are not real. None of it is real. It's just your perception based on your limiting beliefs of what you decided was real when you were a child. And most of our limiting beliefs, as our brain is programmed, are from 0 to 12 years old, because that is when our subconscious starts to take over. So that's when it's programmed into us. So any other questions before we send you guys off to write and release? And I'm going to tell you, there were people who didn't want to do it, and they did it anyway. They had some of the biggest breakthroughs they've ever had. Write the letter to the person you need to write the letter to. Write the letter to your mom. Write the letter to your dad. Write the letter to your sister. Write the letter to whoever it is that needs to release that part of that energy. Because here's where we've seen the biggest growth in our team. When you can dump the past, you can have an open eyes and open heart for the future to create a really clear vision. Those of you who are scared to dream or have a very hard time writing a 5-year living vision, it's because your backpack's too heavy. You can't see forward because your past is holding you where you're at. So you have to dump it. And once you do, and you're free of that, to really show up in your life for your family, for your children, for that bigger vision, to show up in service, Because none of it's real, you guys. None of it's real. You can say, yes, it's real because I went through it. Yeah, you went through it, but you're here now. And every single thing that you went through brought you to where you're at. So even the biggest trauma, you guys, if you can come to a place of thankfulness and gratitude for, you're who you are because of that. And there's no one on this call who is not a fantastic person. There's no one. And if you say, yeah, but, that's just your limiting belief saying, yeah, but, because you're here and you're alive, you are. Which means you have to thank the bad just as much we thank the good, because it's who we are. If we survived, therefore, it opens up the pathway to be who we are. It's part of our story, but it's not us. You're here because you're here. The rest is just a story. And the rest is just a story that you tell yourself. All right, any questions? And then you guys will go off and you'll write these letters and you'll tear them up and you'll burn them. And hopefully you have some big breakthroughs of release. It's normal to cry. It's normal to be very upset. It's normal to have release. It's normal to process later. All of those things are normal. There is no right way to do it. There's no wrong way to do it. It's just a very valuable tool to release. Nope. Okay, Katie, anything else?
No, that was amazing.
Okay, cool. All right.
Thank you so much, Tara. And guys, I encourage all of you. I mean, it's what time? 8:11. I encourage all of you to do this tonight. If you don't do it tonight, I promise you, you're not going to do it. Because it's fresh in your mind now. It takes 30 minutes, an hour, but I can't even tell you. I mean, I'm speaking for all of the women who were there this weekend. I know Kendall had huge breakthroughs. Beverly had huge breakthroughs. I did, for sure. I can speak for myself. It was incredible. I sat and I cried for probably 2 hours and have not cried, y'all, in months. And it was just a huge breakthrough to where Tara was just talking about the paradigm shift. I had that the other day on one of my calls. It was just like, bam, hit me in the face. I saw what everybody else was seeing, but I was blind and had those blinders on for so long until I did push past that limiting belief and opened up my eyes. And I can just tell huge things. Like last night, Tara sent me a message after she called on me super last minute, no warning whatsoever, to talk in front of 500 people. And what I wanted to say was, she said, "You did amazing. Thank you so much." And I started typing something negative. And I was like, no. And all I said is thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I could have totally told myself something bad. I was like, you know what? Like, maybe it wasn't the perfect thing I said, but it was what I said. And it was spoken from the heart. So it's telling yourself those positive things. And y'all, we are all amazing, incredible powerhouse women. But do you believe that? And so it's being able to look inside yourself and really truly believe that. And this activity right here, I promise you, is going to be that first forward step in that direction. So Tara, thank you again so much. Greatly appreciate it.
Katie, you tapped on something I wanted to say real quick. There was something about this weekend that was very powerful. Fran mentioned it today on the call about when we went around and we talked about a moment in our life that something happened. It was pivotal, and it was pivotal in how we shaped our life and who we became. And when we ran around that group, every single person had moments that all of us were like jaw to the floor, like, holy cow, right? And what we don't honor and value is us as people that have got to where we are now. Every single one have had pivotal moments. So many people say, well, nothing's happened to me. It's all a lie. You could easily go back and look 2, 3 pivotal moments in your life that changed your life and the path you took on your life forever. And every single one of you have 3. And I know this now because I asked a table of 15 and every single one had multiple, which means you all do too, which means we all have a valuable story. We all have trauma, but it doesn't have to be drama. And when you can release the energy from it, you can then just have the story, and the story without energy and emotion behind it is wisdom. And when you bring wisdom to a table with a lot of people, you can really help a lot of people.
Yes. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing all of you make that shift, because it's very evident. Like, I'm sure that Tara can see it in myself. I can see it in Kendall. I can see it in Miranda. I can see it in Beverly. All of the women who were there this weekend. So I'm excited for y'all to be able to do this and just let go.
All right,
Okay.
you guys. I look
so
forward to
much,
hearing your story. Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all. Bye.